This week there was a big auto show in Europe, and everybody brought out their finest, fanciest new cars to show them off to the public, many for the first time. And Mercedes-Benz unveiled not one, two, or three, but four concept EVs that could have 466 miles of range at a minimum. Tesla must surely be quaking in their stylish yet affordable boots. Here to discuss that with me is Randy Kirk. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla Weekend. Yeah, Randy, welcome back to the show.
Kicking and screaming. Oh, no, actually, I love coming on your show.
I love having you. We have a lot of fun. What I want to know in the comments from you fine folks at home is we get Statler and Waldorf, we get Laurel and Hardy, we get Abbott and Costello. Which famous duo are we? Are we Hannity and Combs? I don't think so. I don't think so. But you guys can tell us, and maybe I'll cut in single frames of that in the future for your rewatching enjoyment. I do also want to thank my newest patron, Daniel, and upgrading patron, Rich. These are the people who make the channel happen. This is my full-time gig, and I'm struggling to make it my full-time gig. And these are the people who make it happen. So thank you to everybody for the support. Randy, 466 miles of range, Mercedes-Benz coming in swinging. What's going on?
Well, I would start by contemplating that they don't have anything else, so they had to do something.
Oh, no, you're right. So oh, no, we've seen that. But you know what? The Dodge Viper was we have an empty space to fill, put that concept out, and it won the show and entered production.
Well, so the Dodge Viper is an incredible machine. And I've never understood why they didn't sell lots more of those than they already did. And now they're bringing it back as an electric. And, all that's good. But Mercedes is a fine automobile. There's nothing wrong with Mercedes. But they haven't made a good EV yet. Well, they made an okay EV. And their numbers are even starting to be presentable. But they haven't kicked it out of the park. They haven't done anything that would go, oh my goodness, I have to have a Mercedes because they did this. So they're like, okay, let's go for miles.
Yeah, well, the EQS is an ugly car. There is just no two ways about it. You could be as polite as to call it boring, but if you saw the rendering versus what the concept was versus what the pre-production, it is just watered down doesn't describe it. This is homeopathy at this point. It's all water. So what's wrong with this? Why shouldn't I believe this car is real?
Well, I think, we know, that, of course, that these concept cars go through all these iterations and then they come out as something almost unrecognizable. I can't tell you how many concept cars I would have bought on the spot. But there was never any car that looked like what the concept car looked like. So, but if you bring out a concept car, what are you going to do for me besides the look? I'm going to be interested in the look. Believe me, I like good looking cars. I make a lot of my decisions on cars over the years based on the looks, no doubt about it. But like when I did buy my first Jag, I had to take into consideration maybe it would be in the shop a lot, okay? Maybe it wouldn't be as up to date on the the creature comforts, because Cadillac and others were ahead. I had to take those things into consideration. Well, with Mercedes right now, even if they came out with a really good looking car, I have to ask myself, what about the rest? What about what about the driving system? What about the software? Are they up to date? Are they killing it? Are they doing something different and new in addition to what other cars are doing to make it worth spending all the extra money for a Mercedes? So that's why I say they didn't have any of that. So they led with miles.
Yeah, and 466 though, that is pretty good, isn't it?
So I've said before on your show, maybe even recently, maybe even only a day or two ago, that one of the keys to Elon's success, one of the keys to Tesla's success is paying attention to the customer. Really actually having the data, knowing how much people drive, how much they drive per day, how much they drive per trip, how much they drive per week, and then also hearing back from people how they know how often people go to superchargers. They know whether people feel like they're getting enough mileage out of their car in order to take care of their needs. And he has said over and over and over again, 300's enough for the vast majority of people. There's a sliver, a small sliver of people that would care to have more than 300. And so therefore he makes the cars based on 300, which keeps the price based on the amount of battery necessary for 300, keeps the price in line. Now, could Tesla have a 500-mile Model 3, a 600-mile Model Y, a 700-mile Model S? Absolutely. Add batteries.
Well, there was that firm in Michigan that retrofitted a Model S by just putting in a second battery and cooling loop, and they almost doubled the miles. They didn't quite, but they almost doubled the miles. And yeah, this car we could make it today, but it's going to be real heavy and it's going to be real expensive. And for what? Who needs it? The problem I have with the Mercedes announcement, well, first of all, 466 miles, that's on the WLTP cycle, which is not as optimistic, let's be polite, as the NEDC rating, but it's not as realistic as the EPA rating. That car in America would not be rated at 466. It'd probably be rated at 415 to 430, maybe 420. Nice, but they would. But it wouldn't be 466. So the spread between that and the Model S long range today isn't all that big. And these aren't real cars. Like you said earlier, these are concepts that may come out in a couple years. The articles say they're real close to production, and maybe they are. But they're still concepts. Even if they look different, they could still have less range than anticipated. And it wouldn't matter because they got the headlines today. And that's what they wanted, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So, I've done a few trade shows in my life, 380, I don't know, a lot of trade shows in my life. And yes, when you do a show, especially a consumer-facing show, you're looking for as many headlines as you can possibly get. Because why? You want to drive people to your booth, or you want to drive people into the show to begin with, and then they'll come to your booth. So you're looking for something that's going to, get folks to show up. Now, you're in Germany, okay? And the Germans love their German cars. There's nobody doubts that. It's unequivocal. There's a definite nationalism associated with the German car industry. My dad worked for a competitor to General Electric when I was little. And we could not buy any General Electric products at all for the entire house.
Did he work for Specific Electric?
Specific Electric. Specialty Electric. Yeah. Anyway, but it wasn't just the kind of products his company made. No, we couldn't buy any General Electric products. So you've got all these people in Germany that have worked for Mercedes, worked for BMW, worked for, go down the list of the German car companies that they've worked for, their parents have worked for, their brother worked for, their wife worked for, and so it's like, oh, I don't know if I can touch a car that isn't in my family's lineage.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a huge thing going on. So now there's a show going on, and you're like inspired to go to the show. What are you going to do first? You're going to look at your favorite brand, and then you're going to look at the German cars. You might get around to Tesla, you might get around to the Chinese cars, but you're certainly going to want to find out what the home team is doing.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the big question becomes, so let's say you make it. Let's say you do have these 4 cars coming out. They really do have 466 WLTP miles of range. At what price? I mean, are you really going to pay $80,000 when you could get a Model 3 long range that gets almost the same. It gets pretty close on the range. It's got close. I mean, you're getting close to 400 on it now, and it's half the price. Half the price for a car that's, let's admit it, on the inside, it's not going to be as nice as a $80,000 Mercedes. It's not going to be as quiet. It's not going to be as comfortable, but it's going to be close for half the price.
Yeah, so I saw a brief video where somebody was opening the door and looking at the interior. I think it was of a Mercedes at that show, and they had gone for the futuristic look. So you weren't looking at the, yacht, paneling and all this kind of thing that you think of. They had gone for this kind of futuristic look, and it was kind of spacey age looking, but maybe a little too Disneyfied. I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see other people's, if they saw this video, maybe they could comment below. Maybe I've got the wrong video, but I'm pretty sure it was a Mercedes. Is that going to appeal to that $60,000, $80,000 buyer, this kind of Disneyfied future with flashing lights that are coming together in the middle and stuff? I'm not sure.
I will say it's not going to make it to production because, like you said, what their customer wants is not the same as what reporters at an auto show want. A Mercedes buyer wants a salesperson who is knowledgeable, professional, and experienced, and the showgoers want booth babes.
Booth babes.
They want booth babes, and they want the laser show. They want the fog machine and the free coffee. Yeah, it's great, and there is no date yet, but fine. If you want a long-range car, if range is all that matters, Lucid already holds the crown. And do you know what their sales are?
I think their sales now are at 50% of the president's, I'm sorry, double. They're double, 2 times, the president's salary. So I think from now on, we should gauge Lucid.
Oh, yeah, Peter's salary.
265 million or something, and their sales are 700 million?
I think his salary it was over 300 million.
300 million, that's it.
And they sold
700
last quarter 1404 cars.
Yeah, right.
1404. That's less than 6 hours of Tesla's production. Even boutique EV makers make 1404 look as anemic as it is. If range was the big seller in a luxury EV, Lucid would be selling like hotcakes, and it ain't. The last thing that I wanted to say on the whole announcements of this auto show, BMW also said we've got a revolutionary new battery that will allow us to charge 40 times faster, and we're not going to show it to you.
That's it? No.
Okay, so that's definitely in the not going to happen bucket.
Right.
That's Toyota's miracle battery all over again. Anything else on the Mercedes I'm overlooking?
I didn't go deep into the Mercedes announcements or the Mercedes, any kind of videos that might have been out there on Mercedes, because I have my hands full trying to keep up with the Highland announcements and the Highland videos, and because there was a lot of those, and I really wanted to make sure that I saw all of those. I'm so hopeful that Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, I hope they all get it together. I hope every single one of them contributes 1 million or 2 million BEVs by 2027 so that we can get rid of ICE by 2027. I'm hoping that Volkswagen contributes 4 million, maybe 5 million. They need to contribute 10. I would be thrilled if they got up to 4 million by 2027, because if they don't, they might not be in business. So, so I'm excited. I hope they do it. I hope they come out with stuff that works. I hope they come out with stuff that people want. Let's see, what does Elon say? A compelling product. If you don't make a compelling product at a compelling price, you shouldn't be in business. So to all 4 of you German manufacturers, listen carefully to Elon.
See, what I thought Elon said is the best part is no part, the best
did say that.
procedure is no procedure, and the best kid is 9 kids.
Yeah. Is it only
Isn't
9?
that-
I thought it was up to. I thought it was beyond 9 now.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that's why Zachary Kirkhorn left is because he's having some kids with Elon.
That's gotta be it. I'm 100% sure you're right on that one. By the way, people say that sometimes you speculate, and I'm pretty sure that was fact.
That one's an inside source. Leaked it to me. I don't like leaking that.
By a parts
context.
supplier who happened to be there.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, Randy, awesome to have you on. Best-selling author, you got to go check him out. He's got a YouTube channel of his own, I guess, and he has some pretty good guests, I guess, including me.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I know his standards are very low indeed. So what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Don't forget to leave all the jokes in the comments below. And yeah, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.